California sunny afternoon, and there's no better institution in our country than the institution of marriage. And I think it's great that Don and Maria want to share this with all of you, their family and friends. And based on the fact that Don's kissed Maria twice already before I said he could, we should probably get on with this. He's getting a little anxious. You okay? All right. Now, institution of marriage. Now, one of those prevailing questions people have when they come to something like this, and I know the thought is going through all of your minds, is, how long is this thing going to last? It's not going to last long. It's going to be quick. It's going to be precise, because I know you guys have been eyeing the food and the drinks and everything, but we're going to make sure that we make this an impactful day, so it's a day that Don and Maria will never forget. But before I get started, to kind of lighten the mood a little bit, we all have misconceptions and premonitions about marriage, so I want to share a few things that people have said about marriage in the past. It says a man inserted an ad in the classifieds, wife wanted. The next day he received 100 letters, and they all said the same thing. You can have mine. Another man said, I married Miss Right. I just didn't know her first name was Always. Another man said, I haven't spoken to my wife in 18 months. I don't like to interrupt her. And this last one I thought was great because it combined marriage and also combined the current state of our economy. A man said his credit card was stolen, but he decided not to report it because the thief was spending less than his wife did. As you guys can see up here, Don and Maria are a very beautiful couple. I just want to give them a few words of encouragement as they venture into this new life together. One thing that I've always heard is that when people enter into a marriage, they say, well, if I give 50% and she gives 50%, we'll be okay. And that's one of the biggest misconceptions that I really want to address, because if he gives 50% and she gives 50%, you're going to come with something that's very similar to Brian's St. Louis Rams on the football field. Nothing is going to get done. It's going to fail tremendously. The only way you're going to have success with this thing is if both couples give 100%. And I can tell by talking to both of them a couple of days ago that they're willing to give 100%, each one of them, each and every day, to make this marriage work. I was having breakfast with a friend of mine last week, and he and his wife are having marital problems. And in case you didn't know, those are the type of problems you have when you're married, are marital problems. And he was saying, Cedric, I just don't love her anymore. And I said, you have to love her. He goes, you're not listening to me. I don't love her anymore. I said, loving is a verb. You have to do it. There are going to be times when your wife is just going to really frustrate you. Maria, you have a hard job because you have to love Don. Your job is a lot harder. But in those times when it's going to get rough, not if it's going to get rough, but in those times when it's going to get rough, you have to make the commitment every single day that no matter what happens, no matter what's said, no matter what's going on in the economy, no matter what's going on with my house now being valued at $10 as opposed to $500,000, we are going to love each other no matter what. And then the last thing I just want to add is that, unfortunately, due to the media and everything, too many people get involved in the gym, what I call the gym membership attitude toward marriage. They say, well, I'll try it. I'll sign up for it. And if I don't see any results in 30 days, I'm out. You guys can't have the gym membership attitude. Brian, when was the last time you went to the gym, by the way? See, case in point. You can get the membership if you don't go or put work into it, nothing happens. But I don't think these two are going to have that gym membership mentality. They are committed to each other 100%. They're going to love each other no matter what. And that gym membership mentality is going to go out the window because they're going to work at it every single day. Now, one of the most fascinating things that I find is when I meet a new couple is I always like to find out, how did you meet? What did you think when you first looked into her eyes? What did you think when you first saw his bulging biceps? Because those stories are always fascinating to me. I asked my dad that a long time ago. I want to hear this big flowery story. I said, hey, Dad, how did you and Mom meet? Were you guys like in a meadow somewhere and she was running to you in slow motion and you ran to her and everything's going in the wind? He goes, so your mom came to me and said, I'm pregnant, we need to get married. I'm going to therapy now, so don't worry about me, I'll be okay. But when I sat down with Don and Maria, and we sat in that kitchen right behind you there, and we sat at the counter, and I said, tell me a little bit about how you met. What was it like? And I had to write it down because I didn't want to leave anything out. The story of Don and Maria began with a singles dance down at beautiful Newport Beach, which is a whole lot cooler than getting married in Corona. Don't know why you picked here. Now, the thing that was weird, it was Don's first time at one of these events. His very first time. As she tells it, it was Maria's last time at one of these events. She was done. She was through. Nothing was happening. But it's funny how fate plays into this type of stuff, because it was Maria's friend Nubia. Nubia, where are you? Nubia. If it wasn't for Nubia inviting Maria to this event, these two would have never met. So Maria said, you know what? Let's give it one more shot. I'll go. So she and Nubia go. They're dressed to the nines, looking fine, going out to the singles club. Now, this part I love because Don actually told me when he was there. Now, Maria's at one table, Don's at another table, and the way Don tells the story is that he was at a table talking to another woman. You guys picturing this? Now, this is where the part, and Don's my hero, because this is where the term player comes into play. Every man has a little bit of player in him. It never goes away. So he's at one of these tables, like these round tables here, and he is talking to another woman. When, in true player mode, he catches another woman out of the corner of his eye. And he's thinking, wow, I would really love to talk to her, but I'm stuck talking to this. How do I move from this situation and move into the situation where I really want to be? So now at this point in time, he's talking to this woman, and all he's hearing, she becomes like one of the adult people in the Peanuts cartoons. It's like wonk, 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 because he's thinking about Maria. So being the gentleman that he is, he gets up and excuses himself, and he can't go directly to her table because the distance of the tables are like the tables here. He circumnavigates all around the room like the way a lion stalks its prey, saying, how can I get closer to make my move? He actually went as far as to go into a totally separate room that was not part of the singles dance, just to hang out there for 5 minutes to give the impression that he was doing something else of importance. You're slick. I like that. Finally, he mustered up enough courage to approach Maria and ask her to dance. But remember, this isn't her first time there. She's been there, done that before. She's like, hold on, pal, hold up, wait a minute. Sit down for a second, let's talk. So they're sitting, they're talking, Don's trying to get to know her. Maria's like, are you another one of the many bozos that I've met here? Let's find out a little bit about each other. So after a while they talk, and she decides, you know, this is a pretty good guy, let's go dance. So they're out on the dance floor, and this is where the magic starts to happen. They're talking, they're dancing, they're asking questions, and you start to get that vibe. And most of us who are married here, you kind of know right away, it's like, you know what, this is a person I would like to see again, or this person has no chance. Obviously, they both thought they would like to see each other again because they continue to dance and they continue to ask questions. And the way Maria tells it, she's looking up at him, he's looking down at her. The music is playing, they're swaying back and forth, and she looks lovely into his eyes, those deep, beautiful eyes. And she says to Don those 3 words that define every initial relationship. She looks at Don, she says, I don't cook. And he stayed. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been like, ooh, yeah, it is getting kind of late. Maybe I should take you home, call me, and we'll get together some other time. But this man stayed. So obviously, there's something deeper than the fact that she couldn't cook. By the way, the food's being catered. Maria had nothing to do with it, so you guys are safe.